Errol Barnett has the latest.
Amid the widening Russia investigations, President Trump is shuffling his legal and communications teams. Yesterday, financier Anthony Scaramucci was announced as the new director of communications for the White House. It's a move that did not sit well with Sean Spicer, who resigned as press secretary when he learned it was official. Spicer said it was in the best interest of the administration for him to leave. Former Deputy Sarah Huckabee Sanders has been promoted to press secretary after spending the month conducting most of the off-camera press briefings. On the legal front, Mark Kasowitz, Mr. Trump's personal attorney, has resigned along with his spokesman, Mark Corallo. It's unclear what triggered their departures, but Kasowitz was exposed using profanity and threats in an email response to someone who suggested he resign. Kasowitz did apologize. President Trump has added Ty Cobb as special counsel. He will work with Jay Sekulow and John Dowd in crafting the administration's legal response to what are widening and growing questions over the Russia investigations.
Errol, I want to ask you, though, about Spicer's resignation specifically. Why now? Why did he decide to leave?
Well, you know, the official story from Sean Spicer himself on an interview with Fox News just yesterday was that he wanted to get out of the way, allow Scaramucci and new press secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders to start with a fresh slate. He said he didn't want there to be too many cooks in the kitchen. But CBS News has learned that Sean Spicer has long disagreed with Scaramucci joining the administration dating back to the transition. Sean Spicer is a friend and colleague of Reince Priebus. They both worked closely together at the RNC, and so in many ways they are seen as the establishment wing of the staff here at the White House. So with someone like Scaramucci being considered for such an important high-profile job, despite the fact that he has no experience in this type of communications role, where that was Sean Spicer's role at the RNC, may have felt like a bit of a slap in the face to Sean Spicer, who has been here since day one, has been the chief champion of the president's policies, and has really been skewered by not just news outlets, but, you know, late-night comedy programs like Saturday Night Live. So for Sean Spicer, who has been acting communications director this past month, he may have felt that this was really a slap in the face to the work he's done, to the commitment he's made, and that he would rather step away from the administration than work under Scaramucci.
I want to also ask you, Errol, President Obama's intel chief had some pointed remarks about President Trump and Russia. Tell me what he said.
That's right. James Clapper, the former director of national intelligence under President Obama, was speaking at an Aspen Institute conference, and he was asked by the moderator, Wolf Blitzer, about if he thinks that President Trump is taking the Russia threat seriously, and he responded that he wonders if President Trump does take the threat seriously, and that is based on recent interactions between President Trump and President Putin in recent weeks and months, and still the reluctance on behalf of President Trump to criticize publicly or denounce any of the actions or behavior from President Putin. Clapper said it was a threat that was well understood during the Obama administration, and that many officials do understand the severity of being close with Russia, but that he has open questions to if President Trump feels the same way, and it concerns him.
We've heard so many former intel officials come forward and be very critical of this administration. Are you surprised that it's continuing?
Not necessarily, when you consider that while, you know, intelligence officials are supposed to be nonpartisan, presidents do typically appoint those with views similar to their own. So it's not unusual for an intelligence team linked to a former president of a different party to disagree publicly with a sitting president and his or her policies. But I think that when you see the consistent frustration and questions on behalf of Republicans in Congress, members of the president's own party, and former intelligence officials, it does actually raise more concerns than it is different than what we've normally seen, let's say, here at the White House.
All right, Errol Barnett coming to us from the White House. Thank you, Errol.
Sure.